I just had Midael fight in the arena a little bit, because he's got a much better bow now. Still pretty tough for him though, that's probably because I haven't trained him all that much, and haven't really been getting very many good level ups out of him either. Beowulf does seem to activate his continue skill an awful lot. It is helpful, although I'm not really sure why they decided to give his class continue when they could have given some of the other classes like Great Knight and Bow Knight some skills. Still, it is pretty good. Yeah, you might notice those funny yellowish coloured squares back then. You can't actually go anywhere past that neutral mage until quite a bit later in the chapter. Not even flying units can go past him. For some reason, he creates some kind of weird force field. I've got a lot more promoted characters now than I did before, so I'm trying to make the most out of them. I'm trying to get Sylvia into a place where she can affect people with her dancing, but also stay near Claude. They're still moving abnormally slowly. Now rescuing that village should be a top priority. Fury is an ideal candidate for that. Yeah, the Pegasus Knights really like to keep in formation, don't they? Yes, I think it looks cool making that arrow position. Not sure why I checked Sylvia's status screen. It'd be stupid to think that she'd be in love with Claude already. Will take a lot longer than that. Now here's the bit I was warning about before. It's okay if one person gets within the sleep staff range, as long as you have Edain nearby, or anyone with the restore staff nearby. And something I'd like to remind people of is that the restore staff is actually a long range staff in this game. Has the same range as the Libro staff does. Now against the whole army of mages, it's a very good idea to put someone like Levin in the front line. Because he won't take too much damage from them, and there's very little chance of them actually hitting him anyway, because, well, he's Levin. Unfortunately, Azel's effectiveness is reduced a little bit in this chapter by being forced to stay next to Telchu. Yeah, I was saving that village for Claude to get, because I just really want him to get enough gold to buy the recover staff. But I'm keeping him there for the moment in case I need to use that reserve staff. Which I probably will after this turn. Now, any further forward, and Sigurd is likely to get slaughtered by those mages. As always, they'll be cowards and attack the people who can't fight back. They're seeming to avoid coming towards my army, but it's sort of a good thing because it means they're avoiding the woods. So they'll be getting less terrain bonuses. Yes, yes, we know you're destroying the villages. Now around this point I was thinking, oh crap, is that the village that Sylvia needs to visit? But I don't think it is. You probably do want to send Fury or someone up to kill that pirate up the top though, because if he does get to the village that Sylvia needs to visit, it won't be good. I will discuss that in much more detail later on. In fact, I'm going to make a whole video about it, because as people who play this game know, there's a bit of a weird glitch about that village. He's just explaining the magic triangle. Yes, light and dark are effective against all other types of magic, and they're actually neutral on each other. Very different to the system used in other games. But anyway, I always found the magic triangle a bit strange, because technically you'd think that wind would be effective against fire. I guess I'm thinking of things from a more Pokemon type effectiveness point of view. Yeah, she may be promoted, but really, she's still as overpowered as she always was. She just looks a lot cooler now, basically, but still slaughters things in one round. Now, hopefully, I'll be able to kill this guy and run. And that's one more kill for the Silver Sword. And unfortunately, he can't get back into the woods, which might be a problem. Yes, Levin doesn't need to worry about running into the middle of an enemy army. And now that he's promoted and has crazily high stats, he doesn't really need to worry about not having Pursuit either, because his Continue skill activates, well, it's got a practically 70% chance of activating. At least later on it does. Of course, if he had Pursuit too, it'd be even more overkill. If only there was someone who was basically Levin with Pursuit. No, that'd be far too good to be true. And that's enough out of the Sleep Staff. Even though he hasn't used it yet. It is useful in quite a few situations, the Silent Staff. Interestingly, it was voted worst staff on the Serenes Forest forums. I'm guessing that's the GBA version of it though, because it's a lot more useful in this game when it always works. I would agree that the GBA version of the Silent Staff is pretty useless. I mean, it almost never works unless you use it on a physical opponent, and then it just doesn't do anything. Now, the reserve staff comes in handy here when a lot of your characters are likely to be getting damaged at once. It also gives a ridiculous amount of experience, too. But Claude doesn't really gain anything except magic, luck, and resistance. He does have, by far, the best resistance out of your whole party. Though.